What's up, y'all? I'm sick. Okay, I'm sick, but so's my hat. My hat is sick, just like me. I caught a cold while I was out and about. I was in Vegas this last weekend, and I figured instead of telling you guys about a book that I've read or listened to recently, because I haven't listened to anything truly funny enough for me to give you a good ratchet retelling. Um, I think I have one that's kind of coming, so stay tuned. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. But I figured I should just tell you guys what I've been up to, and I think I should call it. So my name is Ivonne Ventura. Ivonne Ventura. In Spanish, the word for adventure is aventura. So I think I'm just gonna call this one of Yvonne's aventuras. See what I did there? Mike, I'm hilarious. Mike, come on. Come on, laugh. I'm the only one that finds myself funny in this house. But anyway, we're gonna have talk Yvonne's aventuras. We'll talk about my weekend in Vegas. I look like crap today because again, I am sick. I for your sake, because I know that I look green if I don't put on any makeup. So I'm wearing a mild amount of makeup. I'm gonna put on some mascara. I put on lipstick for you guys. So I did go to work today, but I was wearing a mask, so there was like no point. But I needed eyebrows, and you know, yeah, it's just I didn't want to look like I was half dead on the screen. So anyway, I went to Vegas this weekend. I flew out on Thursday. I literally just came back yesterday, and today was my first day back at work. Do I feel like a zombie? Absolutely. Will I do it again? For sure. I love hanging out in Vegas. There's always something to do, and every time you're in Vegas, it feels different. But we went to Vegas for one specific thing. Other than it being my wedding anniversary, I've been married for 6 years. But yeah, that's beside the point. We went. I swear these cats just wait for me to turn this camera on before they start acting a fool. Lord, please help me from my cats. Much that includes you. It does. It does include you, Mike. Let me get through just one video without these cats acting a dang fool. Please and thank you. Amen, amen. Okay. We went for the oh my god, this is already falling apart. We went for the When We Were Young music festival. Because I'm an old hag. I'm 30. So I was really drawn by the lineup because it was a lot of the bands from when I was young. not, I'm not just going to tell you about that. I'm also going to tell you about what I did like leading up to the show because I was there Friday, Saturday, and I went to the show on Sunday. So what did I do on Friday? Well, we landed there on Thursday. I was hella tired by the time we got there. We pretty much got to the hotel. I stayed at the Luxor, by the way. I'm only sharing that because I'm not there anymore, so that's fine. So I was at the Luxor. We arrived Thursday. I was hella tired, so I went to bed. But then I got up at the crack of dawn, which is 7 a.m. to me, because I'm not a morning person. And got ready, downstairs by 8:30, and I went to have breakfast at a place called The Buffet at the Luxor. You know, it was really hard to remember. So The Buffet. So we had breakfast there because I'm no wimp. I ate 2 plates. I had some French toast, eggs, sausage, oatmeal, and some fruit. And a waffle? No, wait, the waffle was ass. The waffle was indeed ass. I did not eat the waffle. The pancake was also ass. I did not eat the pancake, but the French toast was just fine. And they had decaf coffee, which was great. And they had Delight French vanilla creamer, which was also great. So overall, for what we spent at the buffet, I got my money's worth. Was it amazing? No, it was pretty inside. I did take some video. I mean, it was pretty. Um, but other than that, like it wasn't too memorable. Something really memorable about this trip though is that I actually was there at the same time as my sister and her husband and my two of my cousins. Just some context. I come from a really big family, and all of my cousins pretty much are like around my age, and they're all women. So it gets fun and wild, and they all are varying degrees of chaotic, just like me. So you can imagine how loud and rowdy we can get when we're all together. So anyway, they were there. We hung out with them all day Friday. My sister and her husband and my husband and I, we went to the Titanic exhibit at the Luxor, and they give you these little um, pieces of paper that have a person's name on it, and then you go through the exhibit, and at the end you scan the thing into the machine, and it'll tell you if you survived or if you passed away. My person survived, but let me tell you, in that exhibit, it's spooky. Like you just feel the vibes. I don't know if it's because you know what happened on the Titanic, but like you hear that? It's the ghosts. I'm sensitive to the ghosts. I have what you would mention, what you blah, blah, blah. I have what you could call the Peter tingle, and I am sensitive to that type of shit. So when I was in there, man, I felt the spirits. I did. I felt something in there, and strangely enough, I've always been really drawn to like turn of the century stuff. So I feel like I was like it felt familiar to me, like reading the stuff. Maybe I died on the Titanic. I don't know. Maybe I survived. I don't know. The point is, or maybe I was just a bystander and I was a big chismosa and I liked reading the newspaper and like reading about the Titanic. But the point is, I feel like I was around sometime around then because I felt like I knew I'd be knowing, like I'd be knowing what was happening in there, you know. But anyway, the person on my piece of paper, she survived. She was married to some dude that was like a producer for some theater stuff, and then he died on the boat. And when he died, she figured out he was a lying piece of crap, and he ain't have no money, even though they were riding first class, and she thought that they had the money. But get this much, he had no money. This girl had no money. Um, Everything was a lie. So then she had to work for the rest of her life. And then she married 3 more times. I don't know why she got married 3 more times. I would have given up after the first one failed. There's no reason to get married again. You could seek a companionship all you want, but never get married again. No, it's not worth it. Not worth it. Anyway, so that happened. My person survived. My sister's person survived. Brother-in-law's person survived. My husband's person dead. He was pretty offended about that, but I mean, it was kind of funny. Okay, so then we went to the Titanic. And then we went to the arcade at the Luxor called Play, which I think this is where I got my cold from. But that man, y'all, that place was lit. Like I normally I don't like I tell people I don't like games, but I think that's just me on the spectrum and not liking to like not being able to like process multiple instructions and like learning how to play card games or video games. I find all of that very tedious, very overwhelming. So I don't like that. But a lot of these games in there were very like accessible to people like me. Where like there was a game where it was like I was playing like it was like Wipeout, like IRL, like you're trying to be on the balance beam, but of course I wasn't on the balance beam at all. I was just trying to walk across by not trying to get hit by the pendulums that were swinging at me. Didn't work. I got pummeled hella bad. Um, so I got pummeled hella bad. And then there were other games too. There was a giant bounce house for people my size. And there was this game with like these lights that would like go off, and then you have to hit the lights. And they're just going off all over the place. And you're just hitting them lights. That was fun. So the playground was a blast. I feel like I was sore the next morning because of all of the physical activity that I did. Also, the playlist in there was lit. Like they had on the jams because again, I am old, so they were playing like Me and You from by Cassie and like other Sierra's goodies. Like they were playing hits from like the early 2000s that I remember from when I was young. Oh, to be honest, I don't even know why I'm filming today. My throat is still like like feeling a little sore, but I wanted to talk. So bear with me if my voice starts getting all scratchy and I start to be all redonk. That's why. If I start to lose it, it's also because Mike is just giving me the death glare. Mike, can you love me for once? Please, baby girl. Please. All right. So that's Cliff Notes from Friday. Saturday, started off the day, and we went to the Mandalay Bay Aquarium because the man that I married really likes zoos and shit. Really likes monkeys, but also sharks. And so this exhibit didn't have monkeys. I don't know why I even brought up the monkey thing. But anyway, the exhibit does not have monkeys, but it's got sharks. And so I was in there for quite some time while he looked at sharks. I personally, I mean, I thought they were cool, but like, I've seen a lot of zoos. I've been married for 6 years, been with this man for a decade. I've seen a lot of zoos, a lot of them. And because I love the man, I will support him and I will continue to see every single zoo that he wants to go see because he sat with me through a 14-hour music festival. So, give and take. Anyway, we were at the zoo, aquarium thing. It was cool. It was fine. Um, and then after that, we went back to because I was hungry after seeing all the fish. So we went to Diablo's Cantina and I bought myself some fish tacos. Okay, that's funnier. That's okay. I think that's funnier to me than it probably is to anybody who watches this. I'm sorry to any of you that were offended by that joke. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. That was a good setup. Listen, y'all know what this is. Y'all know what I'm about. I don't give a crap. I will say what I want. But them fish tacos were hella good. All right, Diablo's Cantina, the second floor of the Luxor, next to King Tut and all that crap. Them fish tacos were good. I had a margarita that was made with hibiscus, or as us fellow paisas Mexicans like to say, Jamaica. Had some Jamaica and mint. It was delicious. It was tart. It wasn't like it was tart and fresh. It wasn't overly sweet, which I feel like a lot of margaritas out here, especially when you're out in Vegas, they just are so sweet and like icky. Like I had a margarita on Friday morning with my cousins from Fat Tuesdays. Y'all stay away from Fat Tuesdays. Stay away. Like unless you want like a sugar migraine, stay away. Not even worth it. Not even worth it. And like I feel like they water down their booze because my cousins like got extra shots on their Fat Tuesdays. They were perfectly fine. I'm kind of a lightweight when it comes to drinking, and I was fine. I bought the big ass slush too. I was fine. So if you're trying to get lit, don't do Fat Tuesdays. Okay, speaking of getting lit, this margarita was delicious, and I was feeling good vibes. This matters. Hey, this matters. So we're feeling great vibes. And I'm like, okay, because every time I've been to Vegas, if you haven't noticed, I'm a free spirit. I like to wander around and go wherever the wind takes me. So I don't really love to like stick by an itinerary 100% of the time, or else I feel like I'm gonna go nuts. So hubby's the same way. So we were like, hey, let's walk the strip and just go on an adventure. Ivonne's Aventuras. Yes, we're gonna do that. So we're going, and the Luxor and the Excalibur are connected. So we go through the Excalibur and we go outside, and we're gonna start walking the strip. And I was so focused on how beautiful the New York hotel and all the other hotels look, like the skyline and all that. I was looking up, right, like this. Mike, I'm telling a good part of the story in my mind. I was looking up like this. And then next thing I know, I went whoop, and I was looking up at the skyline from the ground like this. And then I got up and I was like, what the hell happened? I lost my footing because I wasn't looking at the ground. I'm accident prone. I've also fell when I was hanging out in New Orleans on a girls' trip. I fall pretty much every time I travel. I don't know why. I just do. So I fell. My knees are pretty bruised up. It is what it is. I felt really uncool. I felt really lame because people were staring at me, and I don't like that. I don't like to be looked at. But that was that. I kept walked the whole strip. Another crazy thing that happened to us. Why? Can we talk for a minute? Like, why is the Aria built like that? Right? Yeah. Like, why is the Aria built so stupid? I say that because I got lost. Like, we got lost like at least 2 to 3 separate times in that hotel, because you have to go through the Aria to get to like the other hotels on the strip when you're traveling north, south, whatever direction you're traveling. The point is you're trying to get to like Caesar's Palace and the Bellagio, and the Luxor is clean over here. So you're coming up this way. And you have to go through the Aria to get to these other buildings over here. Why the hell is it built like that? Like, I swear to God, like we would go in one way and we would come around, and I swear we would end up at the same point that we freaking walked in through. We like got lost so many times. So we got lost the first way, then we got to Caesar's Palace, and then we walked through it again, and then we got lost again, and then we ended up back over here again. And then we were trying to make it back to Tournament of Kings, which we had purchased tickets for that Saturday night. And so now we're walking back from Caesar's Palace again. And at this point, I was so upset from how many times we got lost inside the Aria that I scrumped. I screamed the biggest scream I've ever scrumped. And I said, I do not want to walk into this freaking hotel ever again in my life, because we will never get out. We will never get out. This is horrific. I never want to stay here. I never want to set foot inside of this building ever again. Screw this establishment. It is horrible. So I threw the biggest temper tantrum I could, and we walked clean around the building because it's cursed. It's cursed. There's no other reason why it's so stupid. So we go around it, and we finally make it back. And we also ate at this place called Pin Up Pizza, which I'm not gonna advertise it anymore because I used to love it. Like, they sell these big ass slices of pizza, but it wasn't it this time. I don't know. Their heart and soul wasn't in it this time. But it was always like low priced, best bang for your buck, big old pizza. It was okay. I will say overall, this trip wasn't impressed by the food. No. Like, it wasn't it. It was kind of a bummer. But the experience wise, Great time. One of the best times I've had in Vegas. So, now it's the evening. Made it back after getting lost in the Aria 3 separate times and feeling like I wanted to die because it felt like I was in purgatory, paying for sins that I did not commit. We have made it to the Tournament of Kings. The Tournament of Kings. The Tournament of Kings is a medieval type show with knights. It's about King Arthur and his round table. And we got Merlin being Merlin, doing Merlin shit. Dope as hell. And in the stadium, it's not a stage, it's a stage, but it's a round stage. And it's covered in dirt. And you've got the bleachers, right? The bleachers. And each section has a country. I'm talking France, Romania, Hungary, Ireland, butt cheeks. I don't remember. I don't remember, but everything is, there's countries. Did I say Hungary? Hungary. And there was a section called Dragon. And so I said, word, what is that? And so I asked the husband, hey boo, I want to sit in the dragon aisle. And so that's what we did. So we get there, we sit, we're like, all right, sit down. And sorry, I'm drinking more coffee because it's helping me talk. Again, decaf coffee with sugar-free hazelnut creamer. So we sit down in the dragon seat. I have no idea what to expect because we're the only ones that are not a country. And we sit next to these two dudes, these two English dudes. They sit right up next to us because that's their assigned seats. And I'm like, oh shit. Like I'm autistic. I do not like strangers. Okay. Don't even look at me. Don't touch me. I don't exist. I don't know how to be. I don't know what version of myself to be when you're talking to me. If I don't know you like that, I have not pre-planned our conversation. Do not. Don't like it. They started talking to me. But they were really nice. And they made me feel safe. Because they shared that they were going to the When We Were Young festival the following day, just like us. And they hit me in my special interest, which is music. So once I could talk about my special interest, I felt really safe. So I was like, oh, who are you all trying to see? And so they started talking about who they wanted to see. And then they asked me who I wanted to see. And then I talked for a long time about who I wanted to see with a lot of enthusiasm because that's what I do when you ask me about my special interest. I just go on and on and on. And they were so nice. And anyway, so we're sitting there and I made besties with them. Shout out to them if they ever come across this. I never got y'all's names. Y'all were so cool. And I didn't run into you guys at the festival, so just know that y'all made me feel safe. Y'all were cool. Wish y'all the best. So we're in the dragon section. Do y'all like how I tell stories? We're in the dragon section. Guess what the dragon is, y'all? Is the villain. Is the villain. Is the villain. Evil. Evil. Yes, is the villain. I love me some evil. Can we agree? Mike. She's so used to me acting like this. She just sleeps through anything. Well, anyway, I'm all about the evil. Merlin himself told us, hey, you get to boo the good guys every time they come up. And you get to cheer as loud as you want for the dragon people, like the dragons and the evil and the dark magic. I had a hoot. I have never booed harder in my life. I have never screamed, I have no king, you suck, with so much passion. First of all, here in the US, you have no reason to be screaming. But I was having a great time. The dudes next to me were having a great time. By the end, they were calling me mate. I was I was hyped, so hyped. And then they feed you this thing. I didn't really eat it because, it's kind of weird. They feed you like a tiny chicken called a Cornish hen. It's a little baby chicken. It kind of looked like a quail. It was a little. It freaked me out. I didn't eat it. And then two just round potatoes, just patates, just like. And then a piece of corn, a little tiny corn on the cob, and a bread. And they bring you your soda in like one of those beer kind of cup looking thingies. And the people that are serving you, which mine was a dude, but they were calling them wenches. So my wench was very attentive, very kind, very mindful, very demure. He was cool. Rave reviews, 5 stars. I also got to take a picture with the Dragon Knight at the end. Y'all, I'm geeked. This man was so cool. It was the best. That was easily, if I did not go to the festival, that Tournament of Kings would be the highlight of my trip. It was so much fun. So much fun. You don't know camaraderie until you've screamed "you suck" at the top of your lungs and chanted dragon, 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 dragon over and over again with 2 pews or like a whole section full of people just chanting just as enthusiastically as you. Was the best. See, okay, can y'all tell that things are starting to make sense? Because I actually wrote some stuff down. I did. All right. Told y'all I was sick. That was Saturday. Moving on. Sunday. When you were young. When we were young. Y'all. Can I just say it was worth every penny? Absolutely. Will I go back? I would love to. I'm a big music festival girly. I love music festivals. So even if I don't know who's playing, like, I love that sort of thing. It helps you discover people. It is just a vibe. Like, I love it. Love it. Okay. I was there in particular for a handful of bands. I'm going to talk about them in the order in which I saw them. And then maybe potentially at the end I will rank who I saw and keep it short. Maybe. The first people that were there, Alesana, and they were performing their 2010 album, The Emptiness. Now, you guys, you either have no clue who Alesana is, or you bumped The Emptiness to the point where your CD scratched, or you broke your iPod. That shit. I am the latter, okay? I am the latter. I know every single word of The Emptiness. The screams, the monologues, the everything. It's such a big theatrical album. It is one of the best albums to have come from that like emo post-hardcore craze. That is just peak artistry. It's a concept album that it's in the Hall of Fame for me. Like, it's amazing. Okay, so you see how I'm foaming at the mouth talking about Alesana? Everybody in the crowd was just like me, demented. But like for real, they start their show and it's like the opening intro, like that spoken word stuff. and I could feel the tension in the crowd, like it was swelling. And then the guitars went bam 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 bam. Everybody collectively starts losing their shit at the same time, myself included, because we know every single note, every single harmony, every single word, every single everything about this album. So again, the crowd's going, ah! And then the opening lyrics to this album. This is a nightmare. Here's my Annabelle really gone. Everybody, perfect in perfect harmony. Not a single sour note in this crowd. People are crying. Me, I'm people are shoving each other, jumping for joy. They are holding each other. They are shaking each other, knowing every single word. I got a high five from a random man in a Milwaukee Bucks jersey. I got shook by some girls. It was like the moon landed. Moon landed. The moon landing. It was like the moon landing. Let's get that right. Just the pinnacle of what you would call hype. Like, I feel like we were all rehearsing in our bedrooms for years for this one moment, for all of us to sing this album together in its entirety, word for word, note for note. It was incomparable to any other show I've been to, because like I've been to many concerts. I'm a big concert junkie. I will go to anything. But this right here, it was a moment. Like, I still am getting goosebumps thinking about how the crowd was, how amazing they played. Oh, Alesana. Hats off to you, my friends. Oh, look at my beautiful hair. Listen, don't mind me looking homeless. It doesn't matter. Hats off to you, Alesana. You rock the house. You rock my world. When I'm in the old folks' home and I start ranting, you're going to be one of the things I rant about. You're going to be a core memory for me. And they're going to say, sure, Nana Ivonne. Sure. Yes, Alesana in 2024 was great. Please take your meds. That is the impression it made on me. It's serious. So maybe we don't need to do the ranking. Maybe you guys know that this is number one for me. No regrets. Number one, Alesana. Next people we saw are unfortunately at the bottom of my... No, they're not. Second to last for me. We the Kings. I only know one song by We the Kings. The hubby knows two songs by We the Kings. It's not that, like, objectively speaking, it's not that they were bad. They for what it was, great showmanship from the vocalist. He did a wonderful job of keeping the crowd, like, hyped up. The one thing I will say is that I felt like vocally he was not at his best. And I'm not sure if maybe during Saturday's shows he gave his heart and soul and maybe didn't use the proper vocal techniques to conserve his voice for Sunday. But there was a lot of, and I'm not saying note dodging is bad, because I think to preserve your voice, you can tell I have some music experience. Like, knowing when to conserve your voice and how to properly take care of your voice when you're performing, especially when you're touring constantly. You can't always be hitting those crazy notes that you may record in a studio version. So I completely understand vocal like note dodging, or even singing in a lower key when you're performing live. I said that as I cough, potentially doing more vocal damage by talking while my throat is sore. But it just his voice was particularly just not it that day. Like I don't know, maybe he needed like 2 days of rest, some hot teas, but it just, yeah, I was a little bummed. But overall, like they did a good job, but it wasn't the best. I'm sorry, We the Kings. I do like that one song and the other songs too. You did a good, like, musically was fun. Had a fun time. But y'all are not gonna believe this. Woo. But I had a cough attack just now because I was talking shit. Woo. Woo, woo, woo. Okay. Whew. Let me see if I can go on. I am sorry to the vocalist of We the Kings for the shit that I said. Please take this cough attack away from me. Okay. Whew. Now y'all can say, now y'all. Whew. Now y'all definitely cannot say that I made up the fact that I'm sick and I'm still recording. Whew. Okay. Enough about 303. Enough about We the Kings. Let's talk about a band that I'm not gonna say they're number 2, maybe number 3. I was incredibly surprised by 303. Now, they're a band that I only know a couple of songs from. Like We the Kings, I only knew one. 303, 2, maybe 3 songs. But the level of energy and showmanship that they displayed during the performance really won me over. The crowd work, not like a stand-up comedian does crowd work, but in the sense that they really knew how to hype up a crowd. And it got the people going. And like they got me going, which is not something that typically happens. But I was in there. I was gyrating. I was shaking things I did not know I could shake. 303 really set the mood. They just knew what they were doing. It was fantastic. Made me actually want to give their album Want a listen. So 303, hats off to you. Fantastic performance. Fantastic. I would see you guys live again. I would. It was great. Now let's move on. Cobra Starship. I did not know that I was attracted to Gabe Saporta. I didn't know that. See, in my youth, I was so mentally married to Brendan Urie of Panic at the Disco and Gerard Way of My Chemical Romance that I had eyes for nobody else. But Gabe Saporta, in the pilot outfit, I had to take my glasses off, and I was like, who? What? He's a cute boy. He is. I shouldn't say boy. He's like, how old is he? 40s. I'm going to guess 40s. Good looking man. Looks aside, great show. Excellent show. They brought out Patrick Stump of Fall Out Boy fame. Lovely time. They played all of the songs that I love. Snakes on a Plane, Good Girls Gone Bad. That one song. La 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 la. That one. And City is at War. They played all the good songs. It was great. They were playing from Viva La Cobra. So I was a little bummed that we didn't get to hear Send My Love to the Dance Floor because that's my favorite Cobra Starship song. But other than that, they were good. I'll put them somewhere in the middle. Simple Plan. I'm not a big fan of Simple Plan, but objectively speaking, they did great. They sounded great. They were entertaining. There wasn't anything that I could say that stood out as like anything negative about their performance. They did fine. Like they did really well. And the people that are big Simple Plan fans, I could tell, my husband included, were losing their damn minds in the crowd. Not in the same way that us all Lasana fans were losing our minds on the first performance of the day, but pretty close. Like they were having a moment. Much, could you not snore on camera? Like that's a little rude of you. But they did really good. I will say, I did get a little excited because they played the What's New Scooby-Doo theme song. Hey baby, we've been waiting for you all video. Where you been? Hey Bruce. Bruce, do not sit on my list of things to talk about that I worked so hard on. Please don't. Just come lay on me. The fans were beginning to wonder where you were, Bruce. They were. We just gotta wait for him to settle down and sit down, and we'll keep going. Me in the meanwhile, what's the Scooby-Doo? We're coming back for you. We're gonna solve that mystery. I see you, Scooby-Doo. Something, something, something. What's new, Scooby-Doo? If I wasn't sick, I swear I'd kill that shit, okay? Just wait for my voice to feel better. It's over for you bitches. Ain't that right, Bruce? It is over for you bitches because I can sing. I'm just sick. No need to get defensive now. Whoa. All right. Simple Plan, somewhere in the middle. I'm not a big fan. Now, the used. No, baby. Get off the table. Holy cannoli. Everything I wanted and more. You know what? I'm probably never going to be monetized because I don't have the fan base or the watch time for it. But just to tell you that Burt McCracken, the vocalist for The Used, had everybody just lift their middle fingers and go, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And I was chanting along, no questions asked. Just tells you how much control they have of their crowd. When they want a mosh pit, they say make a mosh pit. There's a mosh pit. They know what they're doing. They're great at their craft. They had pyrotechnics. They had fire. It was great. And Bert's, again, he's been in the industry for over 20 years. His voice still sounds like it did in the very beginning. He is taking care of his voice, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful to listen to. I would see them again. Yeah, The Used, fantastic. I'm a big fan of The Used. I personally am a big fan of their album Heartwork that came out in 2020. Give that a listen if you haven't. The Used is great. Pierce the Veil. I've never heard of these dudes in my life. Had a great time. Don't have much to say because I'm not familiar with the material, but they were engaging. They were fun. Their music was really good. They brought out Kellen Quinn of Sleeping with Sirens for a song. I had a fun time watching them. I did step away because I was starving at that point, so I went to Shake Shack and got myself a burger and some crinkle cut fries. Delicious. Just like you, Bruce. Just like you. Delicious. But from what I did hear, they did great. Then after that, we had Jimmy Eat World, and I like some of their songs. Like I like Sweetness, Bleed American. I'm a big fan of a newer song of theirs called Sure and Certain. But what I am sure and certain of is that I was bored to tears at this set. And I feel really bad saying that because I just I just don't understand why they were put in the particular order that they were put, because we're talking about like The Used, Pierce the Veil, very aggressive, very fast-paced sounds, and then after there's A Day to Remember, again, thrashy, loud, in your face, aggressive, and then they put It Just Takes Some Time, little girl in the middle, out the right. Everything'll be just fine. Everything'll be alright, alright. Right here. Why? Why? Is it because you knew that like the crowd was gonna be hungry at this time? That's messed up of you. If you as the event coordinator strategically did that so that people could walk away on Jimmy Eat World, the hell's the matter with you? That's so fucked up. Why would you do that to a band? And that's unfortunately what happened. I had already made the mistake of going to get food during Pierce the Veil. So I stood there, feet aching, because keep in mind, this festival, the gates opened at 10:30 a.m., which means I was out the freaking door, at the door at 10 in the morning, ready, like this, just waiting to come in, my face in the fence like this. Let me in, I'm ready. So I'm in there, 10 a.m. It is now 8:30 at night. No, I'm exaggerating. 7 at night. It's 7 o'clock. I'm tired. My feet hurt. There's like really nowhere to freaking sit. I just stood in line to pee for 30 minutes. And you want me to listen to Jimmy Eat World? That set was eternal. It was eternal. And I feel so bad because had they probably be like put somewhere like higher up with like a softer band, like I don't know, Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, who has that like little angel song, that ballad song, or any other band that has like ballads, had they been moved higher up, I probably wouldn't have this opinion that I have of them right now, where I was ready to bash my skull against the accessible bleachers. You know what I mean? Like I was ready to harm myself just to end that's me putting on my hat backwards, just to end that experience because I was so bored. I was bored to tears. I was looking up at the sky at this point because the sun had set, and I was counting stars. There were only 3 in the sky, so I counted those 3 stars many times. I'm sorry, Jimmy Eat World. I do like a few of your songs, and I will continue to listen to them. But I don't think that I would go out of my way to see you live again. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please. Oh Lord, if I am ever like, if for whatever reason I do something and I become rich and famous, for the love of God, please don't let me run into Jimmy Eat World and then this clip resurface, because I'd feel like such a bitch. Oh my fuck. Oh my God. Too late. I said it. Nothing against you guys again. I like your music, but it was bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right. Let's talk about great things. Let's talk about A Day to Remember. I love A Day to Remember. Sorry, Mom, if you're watching this. When I was 17, I stayed at my best friend at the time's house for a sleepover. Little did my mom know that her mom had purchased us tickets to go see A Day to Remember, Bring Me the Horizon, and some other band. I don't remember who the other band was, but we went. My mom would not have known because at the time when I was growing up, my mom kind of insisted I was possessed by the devil. That's a long story. Point is, it was never a phase, Mom. So I went to go see A Day to Remember when I was 17. This was at the 2011 Game Changers tour, and they were promoting What Separates Me From You. And even then, I knew every single lyric, every single note, every single harmony, every single little thing about each song on What Separates Me From You, and from the album Homesick, which was their prior release, and the first one, the one with the red album cover, with the song "The Plot to Bomb the Panhandle" on it. All three of those, I knew everything, front and back to front, whole thing, reciting in my sleep. I'm a diehard A Day to Remember fan. So to hear that they were going to be playing Homesick in its entirety, lost my shit again. Lost my shit. I would say, are they number 2? Okay, maybe I'll get my top 3 ranking after this, after I talk about all the bands. But they were fantastic. When Jeremy McKinnon said, "Disrespect your surroundings," best believe I disrespected some surroundings. There was a little old lady next to me that, like, you know how, like, some people's natural instinct when they hear, like, thrashing music is to headbang? Mine is to, like, twerk and gyrate and, like, move my body. So when I disrespected my surroundings, I was shaking that ass with an older woman next to me who was clearly looking at me with, like, a face of disgust, like Mach is doing right now. Like, why are you doing this? Like, why? What did I do to deserve this? But I was busy being possessed by the spirit of the breakdown of the song. I don't regret it. Sorry, lady. Why you sat next to me? So they were great. 5 stars. 10 out of 10. Would I go see A Day to Remember? Absolutely. I already have. In secret. But I will do it in public. Like, publicly. I will do it. Proudly. With my own money. Shoot, I will clean their house if they ask me to. I love A Day to Remember. They're, like, easily in my top 10 favorite bands. Love them. In fact, I love them so much that I'm willing to forgive the You're Welcome album. Of course, nothing will ever top Common Courtesy. That is their magnum opus, but You're Welcome was trash. Anyway, great band. Great performance. Maybe they are number 2 for me. Maybe. Next band that has my heart. Sleeping with Sirens. You guys, I have been wanting to see Sleeping with Sirens since I was 18 years old. Specifically, this best friend that I would say, when I was young, I had a best friend in high school. I had one friend. And her family was very welcoming of me, and so they would pay my way to a lot of things. And I've always been eternally grateful. Like, they know who they are. I don't think I would have had any of, like, the experiences that I had, like going to concerts or traveling, if it weren't for them, like, that early on in my life. Because even though, like, I'm not saying I didn't have anything growing up, but because my parents did have the means, I never was left wanting anything. But when it came to, like, traveling, we would only travel to see family. Like, we didn't really know vacations in that sense. So my first like trip by myself, I was freshly 18. Um, we, instead of going to our senior trip, like a senior in high school, our senior trip to Disneyland, because we went to school in California. That's like what you do. You go spend it in Southern California. So instead of doing that senior trip, her parents paid for us to be in Disneyland for 5 days. And I swear this all matters. I swear it matters. And I say all of that to say we drove down. And when we drove down, I had my iPod Classic, 160 gigabyte iPod Classic. And we, the entire time on the drive down, I listened to Sleeping with Sirens album, Let's Cheers to This, over and over and over and over and over until the end of the road trip. And then on the road home, same thing. I was listening to Let's Cheers to This at least once a day when we were at Disneyland, and on a loop the entire drive back and the entire drive too. So, Sleeping with Sirens played Let's Cheers to This pretty much in its entirety. When I tell you I cried, like sobbed, when they played Postcards and Polaroids, I'm not joking. I'm pretty sure other girls out there were crying with me. My only critique is that Mr. Kellen Quinn kept insisting that we sing along with him, but this fool has the voice of like a fucking banshee. So who the hell is gonna sing along with you when you're hitting these like kind of notes? See, I even disturbed her. If my throat wasn't sore and it wasn't, I was hitting them notes, right? But ain't no way anybody is keeping up with you, Kellen Quinn. Why even go like this with the microphone? Ain't nobody doing that. Ain't nobody doing that. So, but other than that, fabulous show. He didn't perform one song. Well, they didn't perform one song from Let's Cheers to This, and instead chose to perform If I'm James Sr., Audrey Hepburn. Fantastic choice. I love that song too. Really good time. Comparing A Day to Remember and Sleeping with Sirens, maybe because of how much Let's Cheers to This means to me, I will probably put Sleeping with Sirens number 2 and A Day to Remember as number 3. But like they're like this. Like this. Like it's really close. Great. Sleeping with Sirens, I almost made you third place because you referred to us as elder emos during the show. And I don't like to be reminded that I'm old. That's like when I'm listening to music on like my music app and I put on a song and then it gives me like songs from the 90s and I feel like my phone is calling me an old raggedy bitch. Like, I don't appreciate that. So please don't bring up the fact that I'm 30. I don't like to hear that. I'm sure you don't like to hear how old you are, you ass. Don't do that to me. I don't mean to pick fights with you, Sleeping with Sirens. I really like you guys, and I will happily throw my money at you for years to come. So, shut up and take my money. Don't tell me I'm old. Take my money. Last, but not least, My Chemical Romance. They were there, and they played the Black Parade, which, can I start this off by saying, I am a huge My Chemical Romance fan. I literally just told y'all earlier in the video, when I was 13, 14 years old, I was convinced I was either going to marry Brendan Urie for Panic at the Disco or Gerard Way for My Chemical Romance. And there was no other man that was going to get in my way. Lo and behold, my husband later on got in my way. But in my mind, there was only two. Actually, I'm lying. Pete Wentz was also over here somewhere. But In my mental harem, there was only two. I love My Chemical Romance. Personally speaking, as somebody that is a diehard fan, and again, just like A Day to Remember, I know every single word of every single song from every single album, front to back, back to front. Whatever line you want, I will recite it for you. But I personally prefer Three Cheers for Sweet Revenge. That is, in my personal opinion, their best album. Like, you can't. Cemetery Drive, Thank You for the Venom, Helena. These songs, like, I kid you not, are better than any of the songs on the Black Parade, which is what they played. So they played the Black Parade. So going in, number one, already not like my favorite My Chemical Romance album. And I already saw them when they like first announced the reunion a couple years ago. So I went to see them. And comparing and contrasting, seeing them in the last 2 years, what I will say is that they felt a little more enthusiastic when I saw them 2 years ago versus when I saw them on Sunday. They just, I don't want to say that they were phoning it in because it seems really harsh to say, but it just kind of felt like I got the vibe that they had performed these songs so many times because the Black Parade is so big that they themselves are tired of playing them. That's the vibe I got. Vocally, Gerard was there. Like, musically, Ray Toro, Frank Ayero, you know, they were all doing their part. They sounded fantastic. But energetically, there was just something that they weren't doing a lot of like talking to the crowd. So that's what I would call crowd work. They weren't doing a lot of crowd work. They were just playing the songs track by track. And there just wasn't a lot of heart to it. I don't know. I could be totally wrong, but like, if anybody else that watches this was there, correct me. Let me know. Like, if you got a different vibe from them or a better experience, I really hope you did. Like, I really hope you enjoyed it. But me personally, I had a much better time when I saw them 2 years ago versus on Sunday. To the point that I actually made the decision to leave the festival a little before they ended. And which I normally would never do. Like, I always wait till the end of the show. But they just, I didn't feel like their heart was in it. Whereas, like, every other band that I had seen, even We the Kings, even though the vocalist was not there vocally, he was still, his heart was still in the show, and he was still doing his best to like convey that energy and that love of performing to the crowd. Whereas, again, like, it just felt like they've performed this album so many times that this was just like one other performance, you know? Like, it didn't feel as magical. I hate to say it. But top 3. Alasana. Give The Emptiness a listen, and then come back and tell me that I'm not crazy, because The Emptiness changes lives. Please listen to The Emptiness by Alasana. It's amazing. Number 1, Alasana. Big thumbs up. Number 2, Sleeping with Sirens. Absolutely. Love you guys. I will definitely see you again at some point. You guys were amazing. A Day to Remember. Why am I doing my numbers like this? It should be like this. Okay. A Day to Remember. Fabulous. Big 3 right here. That made the festival worth it for me. Bathroom Situation was ick, but I mean, whatever. I would go back to this festival if the lineup was as good as it was this year. But yeah, I flew back on Monday. So that was my weekend in Vegas. Thank you for hanging out for the first edition of Ivonne's Aventuras. This was a long one. If you stuck around this long, thank you. And comment down below. What should you comment down below? Mach hates you. Comment Mach hates you down below if you made it this far. And please, if you enjoyed this or anything else that I've posted, feel free to like, subscribe, stay, hang out with me, be part of this this cult that I'm trying to grow. And other than that, I will see y'all next time. Deuces. Hey, what's good? Editing Yvonne here, looking like crap with Mike over here in the back. I just needed to show what Bruce actually looks like when he's cuddling with me in my videos. Say hi to the world, Bruce. Hi, Bruce. This is my baby boy. And this is why I get so distracted. Because he's so happy here. All right. Bye for real. Deuces.